Sjogren's syndrome is a chronic autoimmune disorder characterized by lymphocytic mediated destruction of the salivary and lacrimal exocrine glands, leading to xerostomia and keratoconjunctivitis sicca. Primary Sjogren's syndrome is confined to only the exocrine glands, while the secondary Sjogren's syndrome refers to patients who have primary Sjogren's syndrome associated with another autoimmune disease, usually rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. More than 90% of cases occur in women. The age onset is about 45 to 55, but disease can affect people of any age, including children. Sjogren's syndrome usually has an indolent course, and diagnosis may be difficult to make and delayed because dry eye and dry mouth symptom can be caused by many other conditions or other medications. The etiology of Sjogren's syndrome is not well understood, but most likely is combined effect of genetics, immune system, and environmental exposure. Although classified as autoimmune disease, no unique autoantigen has been identified. Major histocompatibility complex antigens such as HLA-DR2, HLA-DR3, HLA-B8, and other are believed to be predisposing factor to develop Sjogren's syndrome. There may be an initial viral infection or other inciting environmental exposure that may trigger an aberrant autoimmune reaction in people with HLA haplotypes. On histopathology, a dense lymphocytic infiltration of exocrine glands and production of multiple autoantibodies are seen. Two distinct autoantibodies commonly produced are Rho SSA and La SSB, and their presence is used to help diagnose this Sjogren's syndrome by blood serum investigation. The main clinical manifestations include chronic dryness of the mouth and chronic dryness of eyes. Patients with dry mouth often have difficulty with chewing and swallowing, most likely due to difficulty with bolus formation and food adhering to the oral mucosa. Physical examination usually reveals a dry, sticky oral mucosa, absence of pooled saliva, a smooth, fissured appearing tongue, and atrophy of filiform papilla may be present. Intraoral fungal overgrowth is common and mostly attributed to Candida albicans. So, candidiasis may be there. All laboratory diagnostic and clinical criteria are used for diagnosis the Sjogren's syndrome. So, there are ocular symptom, oral symptoms, blood test, histopathology reports, and clinical symptom. You can diagnose this Sjogren's syndrome. If any one of like ophthalmic and oral symptom is present, then any objective like third, fourth, fifth, and sixth ocular sign, abnormal lip biopsy or parotid biopsy, salivary gland involvement, and autoantibodies presence. Out of these third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, any three is present or above ocular and oral symptom, any one is present, you can say it is Sjogren's syndrome. So, laboratory and diagnostic evaluation are used in addition to clinical examination to help establish the diagnosis. Blood test can detect the presence of Rho SSA and La SSB autoantibodies. Other marker of an active autoimmune process such as rheumatoid factor and anti-nuclear antibodies can be tested. Minor salivary gland biopsy from the lip or parotid biopsy can solidify the diagnosis by verifying the presence of lymphocytic infiltration in the tissue. Xylography is uncommonly used at present but can demonstrate xyloectasia in majority of patients and help differentiation between Sjogren's syndrome and other chronic xyloadenitis. Now management. Management is largely directed at symptom control and prevention of damage due to disease. Eye protection is important and should be managed by an ophthalmologist and by eye cares. Patients frequently need to use eye lubrication, corneal ulceration need to be promptly treated, Xerostomia is treated by trying to increase salivary production and secretion of remaining functioning salivary gland by natural stimulation such as sugarless gum chewing and other xylogogues. Medical treatment with pilocarpine and sabimelin and other saliva substitutes can be added for increased salivary production. In addition, topical fluoride treatment and antimicrobial mouth rinses may help, and any secondary infection of candidiasis should be addressed properly. Maintaining the oral hygiene and improve oral hygiene is also requisite. Sometimes systemic therapy with corticosteroid or cytotoxic drug are used only in most severe cases with other organ system are involved. Then you have to add the corticosteroid and cytotoxic drug medication.